Welcome to the first part of our incredible journey through Turkey, from the bustling streets of Istanbul to the breathtaking landscapes of Cappadocia. We've got an adventure packed series lined up for you. In this video, we'll dive into our arrival in Istanbul, explore the vibrant Istiklal Street, and check out some of the city's must see landmarks. Buckle up and join me as we start this unforgettable adventure. We selected Gulf Air for this journey and had a layover at the Bahrain International Airport. We spent about 4 hours here, and I must say it was a pretty decent experience. After a smooth flight, we finally arrived in Turkey. Our first stop, Istanbul Airport. The place is massive and filled with numerous duty-free shops. Istanbul Airport is one of the largest and busiest airports in the world. It's a bit overwhelming at first, but there's so much to see and do. The duty-free shops here are impressive, offering a wide range of products from luxury items to local specialities. However, one thing that was a bit annoying was the luggage trolleys. Unlike most airports where trolleys are free, here you have to pay to use them. We paid for a trolley, but when we tried to get a refund after showing the receipt, it wasn't possible. So keep this in mind when you're planning to use a trolley here. We hopped into a comfortable Mercedes minivan for a ride. The distance from Istanbul Airport to Istiklal Street is about 40 kilometers, and it took us nearly an hour to get there. The drive was quite pleasant, and we got to see some of the city's beautiful landscapes and architecture along the way. We paid around 45 euros for this ride, which we felt was reasonable for the distance and comfort. Plus, the driver even offered us a discounted price for our return trip to the airport. It was great to have that option lined up. After our taxi ride from Istanbul Airport, we arrived at a hotel, Sentire Hotels and Residences in Taksim. Located right on Istiklal Street, the location seemed perfect for our stay in Istanbul. First impressions were promising, but unfortunately our experience quickly went downhill. The reception staff were quite rude and not very courteous. We also faced language barriers with the housekeeping staff, which made communication difficult. Our room was smaller than expected, giving off a claustrophobic feeling. Basic amenities like drinking water and tea bags were provided only once on the first day. The washroom was particularly inconvenient, with water leaking from the shower glass, making the entire floor wet and slippery. It was not only uncomfortable but also potentially hazardous. At 4,400 liras per night, Sentire Hotels simply didn't live up to our expectations. Despite its premium location, the lack of basic amenities and poor service made our stay less enjoyable. After checking into our hotel, we decided to explore the Istiklal Street, and let me tell you, it is as vibrant and bustling as you can imagine. Istiklal Street is truly alive, full of crowds from all over the world. The energy here is incredible, with people shopping, eating, and enjoying the vibrant atmosphere. The street offers an incredible variety of shopping options, from high-end international brands to unique local boutiques. Whether you're looking for fashion, souvenirs, or just window shopping, Istiklal Street has something for everyone. One of the unique features of Istiklal Street is the historic tram that runs right through its center. You can hop on the tram for a tour of the street and enjoy a nostalgic ride. When it comes to food, you're spoiled for choice. There are plenty of eateries offering everything from local delights to familiar international brands like Burger King. Make sure to try simit, a local bread, which was available for just 10 liras, and other street foods like sweet corn and chestnuts. We started day 2 of our Istanbul adventure right here on Istiklal Street. After grabbing a delicious simit from a street vendor, we enjoyed the lively atmosphere and took some pictures on the historic tram and the Taksim Square. Our plan for today was to visit the iconic Blue Mosque and Hagia Sophia located in the Sultanahmet district. We decided to take the Istanbul metro to go there. Navigating the Istanbul metro system proved to be quite a challenge. We went to Taksim station to purchase tickets, but it was confusing and the staff wasn't very helpful. Unfortunately, we ended up buying the wrong tickets and got off at the wrong station. It was a bit frustrating, but then something wonderful happened. A local noticed our confusion and offered to help. They accompanied us to the correct station, which was just 2 minutes walk away. It was such a relief and a reminder of the kindness you can find in unexpected places. From the correct station, we took the tram to Sultanahmet. The journey was quick and much easier than taking a taxi, especially with Istanbul's notorious traffic. Finally, we arrived at Sultanahmet station, ready to explore the historic and beautiful sights of the Blue Mosque and Hagia Sophia. The walk from the station to the Blue Mosque was only about 5 minutes. On our way, we saw many stray cats and dogs relaxing or playing in the sun. It was a beautiful sunny day, perfect for exploring. The best part? There is no ticket required to enter the Blue Mosque. The Blue Mosque, also known as Sultan Ahmed Mosque, is one of the most iconic landmarks in Istanbul. It was built between 1609 and 1616. The mosque is famous for its stunning blue tiles that adorn the interior walls, giving it the nickname Blue Mosque. The mosque's architecture is a blend of traditional Islamic and Byzantine styles, and it features 6 minarets, which was quite controversial at the time as it matched the number of minarets at the Kaaba in Mecca. To resolve this, Sultan Ahmed ordered a seventh minaret to be built at the Kaaba. Inside, the mosque is adorned with over 20,000 handmade Iznik ceramic tiles in more than 50 different tulip designs, and the upper levels of the interior are painted blue. The mosque is also illuminated by 260 windows, which were once filled with 17th century stained glass. The Blue Mosque is still an active place of worship, so visitors need to be mindful of prayer times. It's closed to tourists during the 5 daily prayers. Visitors are also required to remove their shoes before entering, and women need to cover their heads. Scarves and plastic bags for shoes are provided at the entrance. After our visit to the Blue Mosque, we headed over to Hagia Sophia, which is just adjacent. But before that, we decided to grab a coffee at some shops right in front of the mosque since it had started raining. When we arrived at Hagia Sophia, we learned that access to the mosque itself was restricted to locals and Muslims only. However, we could visit the Hagia Sophia Museum. We decided to check it out, but the entry fee was 25 euros per person, which seemed quite steep. Hagia Sophia is one of Istanbul's most significant historical and architectural landmarks. Originally constructed as a cathedral by the Byzantine Emperor in 1537 AD, it was the world's largest building and an engineering marvel of its time. The interior of Hagia Sophia is adorned with beautiful mosaics depicting Christian iconography, which were covered with plaster when the building was converted into a mosque in 1453. Throughout its history, Hagia Sophia has undergone several transformations. It was originally a cathedral for nearly 1,000 years before being converted into a mosque in 1453. In 1935, it was secularized and opened as a museum. Most recently, in 2020, Hagia Sophia was reconverted into a mosque, yet it remains open to visitors of all faiths who wish to admire its historical and architectural beauty. On day 2 of our Istanbul adventure, we decided to visit the Dolmabahce Palace. The ticket cost was 1050 lira per person, which I feel was not really worth it considering what we experienced. The ticket includes an audio guide, but you need to deposit $100 or an ID proof as security, which is something to keep in mind when planning your visit. The palace is surrounded by beautiful gardens full of tulips. These gardens are very well maintained and add a lovely touch to the overall experience. Unfortunately, cameras are not allowed inside the palace, so we couldn't take any videos or photos of the interior. However, the architecture and design are truly stunning, and the audio guide provides detailed information about the history and significance of each room. At the exit of the palace, there are multiple river gates that open onto the Bosphorus. These gates are not only architecturally impressive but also offer a picturesque view of the river. Many tourists stop here to take pictures, and it's easy to see why. The view is breathtaking, and the gates themselves are a beautiful example of Ottoman design. Dolmabahce Palace was built in the mid 19th century and served as the main administrative center of the Ottoman Empire. It is known for its opulent European style architecture and lavish interiors featuring crystal chandeliers, gold leaf decoration, and marble elements. The palace has a rich history and has hosted many important events, including the final residence of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, the founder of modern Turkey, who spent his last days here. There is a cafe on the palace premises, but it was quite disappointing, so I'd suggest you avoid it if you're planning a visit. We also saw many stray cats around the palace area. It was heartwarming to see locals and tourists feeding them and taking care of them. There's a clock museum within the palace grounds, but unfortunately it was closed during our visit, so we couldn't explore it. Overall, while Dolmabahce Palace has its beautiful aspects, especially the gardens and the river gates, the high ticket price and some underwhelming facilities made it a mixed experience for us. After our visit to Dolmabahce Palace, we decided to try a vegan restaurant called Vegan Masa, which is about 2 kilometers away. We were eager to see what vegan delights Turkey had to offer. The menu at Vegan Masa was simple, but it had great selection of dishes. We ordered a variety of items, and I have to say, most of them were amazing. One of the highlights was the vegan lahmacun, a delicious Turkish flatbread, which was so good that we ordered it multiple times. It's a must try if you visit. Another delightful find was the vegan baklava. Finding vegetarian or vegan baklava in Turkey can be quite challenging, so this was a real treat for us. The flavors were rich and satisfying. The prices here were quite reasonable, especially compared to the touristy Sultanahmet area. If you're a vegan or just looking to try something different, I highly recommend stopping by Vegan Masa when you're in Istanbul. Next, we decided to visit the Basilica Cistern. Visiting at night was a great choice. The ticket prices are slightly higher, but it was worth it as there wasn't much of a crowd or any queues. The Basilica Cistern is one of Istanbul's most intriguing historical sites. Built in the 6th century, this massive underground reservoir was used to store water. It's incredible to see how well preserved this ancient structure is. The cistern is supported by 336 marble columns, each standing 9 meters tall. The atmosphere, with the sound of dripping water and the play of light and shadow, makes it a truly unique experience. I was particularly excited to visit the Basilica Cistern because it has been featured in several movies, including the famous James Bond film From Russia with Love. It's amazing to stand in the same place where such iconic scenes were shot.
Yeah. The Emperor Constantine built it as a reservoir 1600 years ago. Really?
To our surprise, there was a show of the Turkish whirling dervishes dance included in our ticket. It wasn't mentioned anywhere, so make sure to catch this if you visit. The whirling dervishes are part of the Sufi tradition in Islam, and their dance is a form of spiritual meditation. The dervishes spin continuously, representing a mystical journey towards divine love. But be warned, watching this dance might test your cervical health. It's dizzy even just to observe. After that, we headed to a nearby restaurant called Dantic. We chose this spot because it offered some vegetarian options, which can be a bit tricky to find in Turkey. The menu had a decent selection, and we decided to try a few different dishes. One of the highlights was the famous Turkish clay pot dish, which we were eager to try. Although the preparation of the clay pot dish was interesting, with its traditional cooking method, the taste was unfortunately just average. It didn't quite live up to our expectations. On day 3, we made our way to the Suleymaniye Mosque, which is located in the historic district of Istanbul, near the Golden Horn. To reach this mosque, we had to walk almost 1 kilometer, and the path was quite steep, so be prepared for a bit of a hike. The entry to the Suleymaniye Mosque is free, and unlike some of the other famous mosques, it was much less crowded, which made for a more peaceful visit. The mosque is truly picturesque. The interiors are similar to those of the Blue Mosque, with intricate designs and beautiful calligraphy. Just a reminder, shoes are not allowed inside, so you'll need to take them off before entering. We spent some time here, soaking in the serene atmosphere and capturing a few pictures of the stunning architecture. After our visit to the Suleymaniye Mosque, we decided to head over to the famous Grand Bazaar, which is conveniently located nearby. On our way to the Grand Bazaar, we came across several small shops offering locally manufactured products at quite reasonable prices. We couldn't resist doing a bit of shopping even before reaching the bazaar. Most of these shops had fixed prices, so there wasn't much room for bargaining, but the prices were already pretty decent. It was nice to find some good deals before hitting the main market. As we entered the Grand Bazaar, we were greeted by a vast array of shops. However, we weren't impressed as we expected to be. The prices were higher than the shops outside, and many sold first copy items. I'd recommend shopping at the nearby stores instead. On day 4, we decided to rent a car from Avis, conveniently located in Taksim right next to the Hotel Hilton. The staff was decent and everything was handled transparently. They asked for my credit card, passport, and my Indian driver's license. We got a VW Passat which was in great condition, and driving it on the highways was a real treat. It came equipped with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so navigation and entertainment were a breeze. The fuel economy was impressive too. Initially, driving in Istanbul was a bit challenging due to the traffic and narrow streets, but I managed. It was my first time driving on the right hand side of the road, so I was a bit nervous at first. We set off for Cappadocia, a 730-kilometer journey that took almost 9 hours, including 2 breaks. The drive was amazing. Smooth highways with a speed limit of 140 km per hour on toll roads and 110 km per hour on most others. This was easily one of the best drives of my life. We made a stopover at a place that had everything: food, shopping, entertainment, and fuel pumps. Finding vegetarian food was tricky, and most people didn't speak English, but Google Translator saved the day. We managed to order a pizza, a wrap, and some coffee, which was decent. We started our journey around 1 pm and finally reached our hotel in Goreme around 10 pm. All in all, the drive from Istanbul to Cappadocia was incredible and something I'd highly recommend to any driving enthusiast. Around 10 pm, we finally arrived at a hotel in Goreme, where we would be staying for the next 3 days. Hira Cave Suites. This hotel was everything we hoped for. The room was massive, easily accommodating 3 people, and the bathroom was equally spacious with all the modern amenities we needed. The weather in Goreme was quite cold, dropping to almost 0 degrees Celsius at night. Thankfully, our room was equipped with a really effective heating system. The floors themselves were heated, including the bathroom, which helped maintain a cozy temperature throughout the room. It was a unique feature that we hadn't seen before and made our stay even more comfortable. The staff was incredibly courteous, providing us with all the information we needed about the hotel. One thing to note is that Hira Cave Suites lacks a dedicated parking area. If you're driving, you will have to park on the road just in front of the hotel. While it's safe, it's not a proper parking space. We've got so much more to explore in the next part. Cappadocia's breathtaking landscapes, the stunning terraces of Pamukkale, and more of Istanbul's hidden gems. But with the weather looking unpredictable, will we make it onto that iconic hot air balloon ride? You'll have to stay tuned to find out. Don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments so you won't miss a thing, and hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.